So move.
Second. It's moved and seconded. Any discussion? Take a roll call vote, please.
Brian Crawford,
Yes.
Leonard Knapp,
Yes.
Harold Creed. Yes. Will Singh.
Yes.
Back in regular session.
We're back in a regular session in regards to the matter of Paul Cavalier, docket number 21257-S, for any public discussion and or any possible votes. Do we have any motions?
Mr. Chairman, make the following motions in order that we took the cases earlier this morning. I make a motion to uphold motion for contempt and find and hold Kevin Reeves in contempt of this body for failure to abide by a duly issued subpoena and appear before the Louisiana State Police Commission at the April 14, 2022 meeting.
I would second.
Does your motion include any motion relative to assessment of any penalty?
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I would defer the penalty phase of this and the subsequent motions until our June the 9th meeting.
Been moved and seconded to find former Colonel Kevin Reeves in contempt of this body for failure to appear as subpoenaed. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. The ruling on that particular motion, that aspect of the motion for contempt also makes moot the second. We have also on our agenda a motion to recall the subpoena and eliminate the rule to show cause regarding contempt filed on behalf of Kevin Reeves. The second aspect of that is now rendered moot. The motion to recall the subpoena will be heard at the same time as the motion to quash that was also that was not filed yet. Okay. But when we have the motion to quash, if any, relative to Colonel Reeves, we'll deal with that at that point. Now, Mr. Oglesby, would you like us to simply consider the motion to recall as your motion to quash the subpoena, unless you want to supplement it later on as per the earlier date that we gave you?
Yeah, well, here's my question. I'm not trying to be difficult, but I'm trying to catch up. Today, we were advised and agreed that we would come back on July 28th, or whatever the hearing is going to be on July 28th.
Yes, sir.
Assuming that we were, if we were unsuccessful in avoiding coming by quashing
Correct.
today, all right. The reason given today by Ms. Kraft out loud was different from the reasons in the documents that we've related to.
Correct. And that's why we gave you the opportunity, if you want to supplement.
Right. So I'm going to have to listen to whatever it is she said, and then or diagram it. And yes, we will. I will tell you, we're definitely going to move for sure to supplement, to quash all of that. If I can ask another question, I know we have the right to appeal, but right now, it sounds like it's not finished. You know, as you've said, we think you're in contempt for not coming, but we're deferring the penalty, and also we're deferring on your recall of the subpoena altogether, and whatever supplementary motion to quash there is. So arguably, everything is still in flux. So there's nothing to appeal.
Everything other than our finding of contempt.
All right, now, if the finding of contempt, independent, you know, like ruling A, all right, doesn't require any actions on B, C, and D, then that's fine. I need to know that so I can determine whether I need to appeal the finding of contempt, okay? But that's something I'll have to parse through. Yes, we will file a motion to quash, a supplemental motion to quash, and we'll argue whatever we've argued before, certainly. And while I'm here, might as well get this all done, because you can issue all these instance subpoenas. Cavalier, needs to be a witness. So we can find out how valid any of these subpoenas are to Carol Reeves. So I ask that you require him to return.
Mr. Simeon, we did file a motion to quash on Mr. Cavalier's behalf. He was served at midnight 2 days ago. I understand he's going to be here June 9th, but I likewise would like our motion to quash to be heard. I also want to make a point of order. Although Mr. Unglesby attempted to try to confine what I said with respect to the reasons for the subpoena, I want to make clear those are in addition to the reasons that we identified when we asked the subpoena be issued in the first instance. I don't want anybody coming in here and saying, but she said it's just the testimony here. That's not accurate.
We're perfectly willing and agreeable, and have always been, that the reasons we've finally been given in the original subpoena are legit, are at issue. Yes, we're not trying to eliminate any reasons. We're just trying to catch up to the reasons. Now, as far as June 9th, if I heard this right, did I get an understanding Cavalier will be here June 9th?
Is that an agreement that he'll be here? Or do we need to issue-
I've got to talk to him, but I did file timely and in accordance with your rule, a motion to quash.
But you filed a motion to quash his
Sure
attendance
did.
today.
And under, no. As it related to the subpoena we filed last night, served all counsel with it.
Okay.
And the way that I understand the law works, when somebody issues a subpoena and you file a motion to quash, it's kind of like, hold on. In this instance, we certainly filed it before compliance. He was given less than 15 days notice under your rules, and albeit he got it at midnight. I'm gonna have to talk to him because, as you know, he's already canceled routes. This is the only way this man feeds his family.
We'll just issue a subpoena right here, right now, for his attendance in June.
And again, I'll have to talk to him. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm not gonna file another motion to quash if I need to, or a motion to continue. Not trying to be difficult,
That's
but
within your right, but
I mean-
procedurally, the question was whether or not we need to issue another subpoena, or would you agree, unless you file a motion to quash it, that he's gonna be here?
and I already did file a motion to quash at
Well,
that point.
but you filed a motion to quash his attendance for today.
I filed a motion to quash as it related to the issuance of the subpoena.
Okay, but to begin with, our rule applies to, the 16-day notice requires for parties. Kevin Reeves is not a party, so
Right.
that rule doesn't really apply.
But it does to him.
Well, but the rule that requires the party issue a subpoena with 16 days notice is what the problem is. But 15 days notice is what the problem is. But suffice it to say, all right, we are issuing a subpoena. If you have a basis for a motion to quash, we certainly will entertain that motion to quash on the new hearing date.
Understood. I just want to make it clear in this record, every single time we keep coming back on this stuff, this man can't support his family. And that's a travesty to me.
Well, I'm
Thank you,
really
sir.
sorry about that, but let's make it clear, if we're gonna play rules, Reeves' subpoena that you found him in contempt of, and you claim therefore must have been, or at least for the purposes of today, was valid, didn't come with any knowledge, didn't come with any witness fees. If the Louisiana Code of Civil Procedure applies, he lives in Jonesboro, Louisiana, which is way more than 100 miles from here. So, Ms. Kraft has to pick what rules she wants, you know? We don't care what they are, we just want to know which ones they are.
We've had the argument on the motion relative to contempt. We've had all those arguments already. We ruled on that motion already. If you take a look at our rules, we have rules, procedural rules that are somewhat governed by the Code of Civil Procedure to the extent they're not inconsistent with our rules. But you have to pull the whole set of rules. Our subpoena rules does not require submission of the witness. But we'll leave it at that for right now.
Okay.
Yes, yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Commissioner Brown.
enter a motion to uphold the motion for contempt to find and hold Jason Turner in contempt of this body for failure to abide by a duly issued subpoena and appear before the Louisiana State Police Commission at the April 14th, 2022 meeting. Penalty phase to be deferred until June 9th.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Finally, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to uphold the motion for contempt and fine and hold the Department of Public Safety and contempt of this body for failure to provide lawfully requested documents regarding the April 14, 2022 meeting of Carl Cavalier matter,
So the same proviso.
with the same penalty phase. Yes, yes.
It's
I would second that.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. I don't think I said the ayes had it last time, but ayes had it on both of the motions, so both motions passed. There've been deadlines set to file whatever, motion that might need to be filed. And Ms. Kraft, same deadline for you to file a motion to quash the newly issued subpoena relative for the June.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, do we need to refer that motion to quash that was filed on behalf of the Department of Public Safety and Corrections?
Yes.
We need to fix that for June the 9th.
Those same deadlines. I'll send something to all council with all the deadlines so that everybody has deadlines.
All right, I think that takes us to the end of the hearings, other than those things that were referred to